Okay, so this thing looks really familiar. It's the same kind of robot that we've seen before. But tell me a little bit about what you've done. It looks like you've got an IR sensor on the front.
Yeah. The first thing I did when I got it all together and booted up and everything was I noticed that it was having a lot of trouble finding anything below this threshold, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I decided what I was going to do. I was going to take one of the IR sensors. So essentially all the checks it does for where to go and what to go and all this takes into account what this is giving it and what the IR sensor is giving it. And if they both look like things are okay, then it's fine. If one of them says something's not right, it goes, well, I'm going to check again. And then it tries to redo the readings and then see if it works now.
Now the infrared, I do believe, would have potentially some problem with colors, perhaps.
It might, but that's
Did
why
you run into any kind of trouble like that? Different light sources.
Not a little bit. Like it gets a little sketchy under here to some extent. But that's why I have the both of them, so that like if it's like I don't know, like if it still gets data from this and this, and
Right.
The way I calculated it is like if this is making sense and this isn't making sense, then you start going around and checking stuff, and I think I got it set to where if it does like 10 or 15 times, then it eventually just takes one of them and goes with it.
Okay. All right. Awesome. This is something I meant to ask of everyone, but since we're going to take these outside in just a second, by a show of hands, who's tested outside yet? One. Kind of. No. 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 Okay, so this is going to be really interesting. All right.
Okay,
Awesome.
and Dr. A,
Yeah.
remember you said something about the infrared. As you can see on the visible light spectrum, the color red is most close to the infrared, and so possibly that is, might help it to some extent, detect objects that are absorbent.
And I fully expect that. Ryan, you said you haven't tested this outside yet, right?
No.
So all the testing you've been doing is under these incandescent lights.
Yeah.
And when you take it outside, you're going to be under solar light. You're going to be under the light of the sun, and that's a very different kind of light. And I think that a lot of people are going to have some trouble identifying the proper distance if you're relying on infrared. Right. Now, sonar, that should only be a problem really if you're running into different textured stuff. Yeah, but we'll see. We'll see.
We'll hopefully let my programming talk for itself. That's probably a bad idea, but we'll see.
You left the breadboard on.
I left the breadboard on.
Okay.
All it literally does is kind of a little pointless. I probably should have soldered. All it does is really take power, ground, and signal. And
Yeah, well, I could appreciate leaving the breadboard on. I mean, it at the very least,
right.
it at the very least allows you to do a lot more easy undoing and redoing. Now, you've got your top on weird.
Yeah.
Was that accidental?
No, I had some issues soldering up the motor shield.
Okay.
I screwed up some of the pinning. So what I did is I added headers onto it, but that made it too big. So it's kind of rigged on here, but it's fine. It's good enough.
Okay. All right. Someone need to place it.
I've neglected anything of my absolute functionality.
Who wants to place it? Someone besides Pinley.
I think you have to choose the person.
I'm gonna force Jen to do this. What have you done to this Go ahead, make it clever.
Well,
Give it a run for its.
so that means I can make a box with those 2x4s.